All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Old Moon Podcast, episode 4. Can you guys believe it? It's literally been 4 weeks already now. 4
Crazy.
weeks. Actually nutty. We are back with the 4th segment of this. I am Blue Squadron, joined with my co-host, of course, as always, twitch.tv/JakeCoonVT. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jake VT of House Raccoon, the first of his name, the King of the Seven Kingdoms, and Protector of the Rich Merchant's Ring, the Breaker of Olens, and the King of Dragon D's Nuts Across Your Face. Hi. I always didn't know what to say, so I had to write up a script of my titles, and so now I have a proper title. So
The next
go ahead.
time,
I love it.
You just never know when the these nuts joke is going to get you. You just, it's certainly not okay. And Tiltus, with your new tag here,
Hi.
Tiltus TV, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What do you have? What's your title?
Hello,
son?
I'm Tiltus TV. I'm the killer of guilds and the. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come up with one for next week. I'll have to rebuttal your long title.
I'm giving us the Game of Thrones intro music next week. That's what's happening. I'm coming in with a dragon, bro. I'm gonna pound him. I'll show you, dragon, some nuts. All right. We have a lot to talk about tonight as the game's been kind of popping off lately. I'm going to start us off with one of Jacoon's topics that he wanted to talk about this week. It was Jacoon's topic. I'll let Tiltus talk on it first. Do you guys think there will be any more classes released this year, or do you think they just stick with the Woosa Maegu? Tiltus?
I don't want any more classes this year. I'm gonna be honest. I want them to come out and I want them to fully support the expansion and push the expansion to make it as great as it can be. I want them to push to get it released globally, not just in Korea. And I want to see them. I want to see them touch and play with the game in other places, rather than just release more classes. I'm sure there's going to be another class. I anticipate one more class probably in November for Christmas hype. That's my theory.
Okay, Jacoon, what are your thoughts? Do you think they're going to give us another class?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna get a fully released class yet. This year,
Well, this
because
year.
we'll still
By
this year.
December.
I don't think we're gonna. Well, we might, as Tilda said, we might get a reveal at the next Calpheon Ball during Christmas. I think that's a big time. Usually the time frames, I noticed that I was looking at the time frames for new release classes. There's always an announcement at the Calpheon Ball, and then we get a new class at the beginning of the year or something like that. And that happened for Woosa and Maegu. And so I also am in agreement with Tiltus that there might be a new class at the Calpheon Ball released, and probably for next year. But I don't think we're gonna get a new class this year because we don't even have a Awakening for Woosa and Maegu yet. So
That's true. That is true.
That is true. I'm thinking, I was leaning one way on this, and then you guys explained your points, and I thought that they were way better than mine. So I was thinking, wow, that's some pretty good logic and reasoning. I do think that normally they like to release classes hype for classes at balls. So we have the Heidel Ball coming in around July. But I think what they're going to do for that is they're going to wait for us, and that it'll be, I don't know if they're going to wait. It'll depend on whether or not we have Woosa and Maegu Awakening by the Heidel Ball, which happens in the middle of the year. Because if we do, then I do think we're going to get one more class before the end of the year. Because I think that at the Heidel Ball, they will tease it. But I don't think we're going to get the Awakenings before the Heidel Ball. I think the Heidel Ball is going to be them teasing the classes.
the Awakenings.
Yeah, the Awakenings for the classes, and then Elvia for potentially Mediah is what I'm thinking might happen there. They can't, yeah. What's up?
Uh-oh.
I accidentally closed my video, Ninja. Hang on just a second. I'm coming back.
We lost him.
Oh,
All right. That's okay. Okay. Are there any classes that you guys actually want to see? I know there's one big class that I definitely want to see, and we haven't seen it yet, and they keep telling us that we're going to get different races, and we just can't get there. Jacoon, while he's figuring his stuff out, is there any class that you particularly want to see, whether it be a race or a particular weapon?
I have a lot to say about this. Okay, so I think an alchemist class would fit right into the world of BDO.
You literally play Shy.
I don't think Shy is the alchemy class. I don't think Shy is the alchemy class. Okay, like alchemy has just something so ingrained into the lore of BDO, right? We have characters like Alustin and his two daughters, Clarence and Eileen. Alustin being there for the Belano storyline, Eileen being there in the Magnus quest line. We also have Gorgath, one of the greatest alchemists in Calpheon, but Calpheon was like, oh, alchemy is a heresy, so we're booting you out. So he hangs around the contaminated farm to research on how to purify monsters and stuff. He also helps you with the Black Star quest line as well, if you remember. And then we literally have Caphras. I'm sure you know the Caphras stone that was named after Caphras, and his title was the Immortal Alchemist. So, he was, one of the major cause for destruction of Kron Castle. He turned, the King Bartali into some sort of monster because the king thought he could make him immortal like him. And then one last thing, Zarka. Zarka, I'm pretty sure he was summoned through the power of alchemy, because there's this one quest line, I know chat might know about this, the quest line for the unstable crystal of unstable darkness, and it was teased like way back when we didn't know if it was real, but we think it's real. But it's this quest line that gives you the ability to summon Zarka yourself, like a Zarka world boss, similar to how when you can catch those mystical fish, right? We thought that wasn't real, but hey, somebody caught the mystical fish and summoned extra Vels. I was there for the first and second. I think there was a third extra Vel that somebody gone. I can't remember, but I was there for two of them at least. And so I do think the Zarka Crystal of Unstable Darkness is real. It's just going to be really hard to get, and it rewards you with a splendid alchemy stone of life or protection or destruction. And so I'm sorry for the long tangent. I'm sure you got my point, but I believe this kind of class will come to BDO. And I guess for like a weapon, I was thinking some sort of wand or something that throws projectiles or something, like, because I'm thinking alchemists will throw potions or something.
Yeah, that's what I imagined was like potions and bombs when you mentioned alchemist.
That's weird. I was trying to hit R to get through all that lore, but it just wasn't.
Oh, damn it! Oh my god,
it wasn't working. So
I'm part of the Land of Morning Light questline where you get unskippable cutscenes. So that was an unskippable.
Unskippable cutscenes.
So we went from a fox to a raccoon. Okay, I see.
We love unskippable cutscenes for sure, definitely. Jay-kun, I know that. Okay, so do you want your class to be male or female? Do you like? I'm skipping ahead a little bit here. Do you like the fact that we have 19 female classes and like 7 male or like 9 male classes?
I don't personally mind that classes are gender locked, and I don't mind playing either a male or female, but I do know that some people really do mind and care for like personal preference, which is totally fair. But I think it would be nice for more male classes, and I do think the next class will be male since the last 4 classes were femille, right? So
you would think,
I do think the next class would be male.
They said that after the last class.
That's a bold prediction.
They were like, we've had 3 female classes. But there's no way they do it a 4th time. Like, Tiltus, do you care about? Do you want more male classes, or do you care? Or you're like pile on the female classes?
Dude, it's the League of Legends like system, right? You release the attractive characters and then you sell things for them. I'm totally for that.
I'm on board.
But could we get like a little bit more male classes? Just a little bit more. In my opinion, I think Drac should have been male Dark Knight, and they should have just done that, because for the longest time we've been talking about male DK, and it's never existed in the game. There's a couple of things that I think would be really good male counterparts, because that was their original concept, right? Was like Mystic Striker, Valkyrie Warrior, Witch Wizard. Like there was a lot of these pairings that went out, and now it's just like female class, female class, female class, female class, which is fine, but like change it up a little bit. What was the last male class we got? Was it Archer?
I think it was Sage.
No, you got it. Archer doesn't count.
Sage. Yeah. Archer doesn't count.
Yeah, there's 20 female classes and 8 male classes. Yeah, honestly, I'm okay with them giving us another male class, as long as it is a dwarf with a warhammer. I am okay with it in that case. I really want one. They promised us. Jay stood up on stage and he said he would never lie to me. Just like my president. He said he would never lie to me. Jay stood up there and literally said, we will give you classes with more races. We will give you more racial diversity in your classes. And we said, okay. And then we got a bunch of more humans. Like the next like 4 classes have all been human. So I'm really hoping that they branch out a little bit. Maybe not with the otter yet, but like give me like a dwarf.
Jay-kun's like, give me the otter now.
Yeah. He's all up in
what
that.
about the papus? You know the papu? Are you team papu or team otter?
I'm very much team dead content.
No.
Team never going out there because it's way too far. But yeah, no, I'd love to see a dwarf with a warhammer. I personally don't care. The classes are gender locked at this point, but I will say that when I started the game, part of what almost deterred me from playing the game was the fact that the classes were gender locked. I did not like that. I wanted to be able to play like, I don't know, I felt like it added more customization to my character. I felt like more unique, having chosen my character with my class, with my race, and then my my gender and stuff. But they lock your gender in, which is a little annoying.
Yeah, sometimes
and I think,
I wish there was more like traditional MMO character sheet style thing.
I mean, once you dive into it a little bit more, I think you realize that like the character creation of BDO is already so complex. It doesn't need the extra complexity of having that gender diversity. But like, I still think that the game suffers from. I still think we absolutely lose players because they're just like, well, I can't play a male DK, so I'm out of here. Now, as far as making Dracania the male DK, nothing about Dracania to me says Dark Knight. I think that Dracania is definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just am saying, like, I feel like thematically, it should have been male DK.
Oh,
big ass swords slinging around, that kind of thing. Like thematically, it seemed like that was in my head the chronological succession to.
I don't know. They don't.
Female Dark Knight.
I feel like they've kind of gotten away from this concept of like the male and the female classes because we've complained about it so much that like bro, staff is just like every time wizard gets something that witch doesn't. I think it's just because we're a bunch of babies. Every time wizard gets something that witch doesn't, all the witches are like, this is bullshit. This is sexist. I want to change this now, and vice versa. You know what I mean? And I think that I think they can balance classes more efficiently if they don't make them exact mirror images of each other, like Ninja and Kuno and Wizard and Witch. So I like that they've kind of stepped away from that, but it does make gender locking, I think, a little bit more of an issue for a newer player. I think as you dive into BDO, it matters less and less. And at this point, we don't really fucking care. I'm just going to keep buying the female outfits, whether I'm playing a female class or not.
And so does like 90% of the player base. So
I saw the Secura set for Guardian and it's just like, I'm throwing my money at the monitor, but nothing is happening. I don't understand. Okay, so moving right along to Awakening and Succession for Woosa and Maegu. What are we expecting for Awakening on these classes, given what their successions are? Now, I know that and part of the reason I wanted to talk about this is that I had somebody in my chat a couple days ago that was adamant that Maegu is going to get this tome because of this picture they released on the Global Labs. I'll bring it up on this. No, this looks like the Maegu.
That's Woosa.
I don't know. This honestly, so it's a picture of basically there's a bunch of blossoms. It looks like the Maegu animations, which is why I just assumed it was Maegu. It definitely could be Woosa. It says it's concept art regardless of what happens here. This is all speculation. But she's carrying a tome in her left hand. And if it is a Woosa, well, let's assume that it is Woosa. They told us, again, I feel lied to. They told us that the classes were going to have identical weapons, but different play styles. Do we still think we're going to get a Woosa with the same main hand as Maegu, but the Woosa has it in the Awakening slot, and then vice versa? Or do we think that they're going to go a different direction? They're going to give them both a different Awakening? Tiltus, I'll let you field it first.
To be honest, here's what I suspect they're gonna do. I suspect they're gonna do something where like Woosa gets Maegu's main hand as the offhand, and then gets a completely new.
Well, they already have an offhand.
Awaken. That's true. Yeah.
This is good. Get the bad ideas out early. Now give us the real. Now give us the real thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're struggling with that, would you rather have it, would you rather see Maegu with a different play style playing with that fan in Awakening? Or would you rather have her just like totally different? Would you rather them separate them a little bit?
Oh, I just want Maegu removed from the game, but yeah, I mean, like, I mean, I want to see them both with completely different playstyles. Right now, I think that they play really similar to one another, and they also play really similar to Sage. So I want to see something different. So yeah, I think that they lied to us. I think that we're not getting the same weapons for both classes. I think that from a lore standpoint, maybe there was supposed to be some iteration of that. I think that may also be why we haven't gotten it yet, because they realized, hey, wait a minute, we're gonna redo this. Yeah. This isn't what we wanted actually. So yeah, I think we'll get different weapons for them.
That's always my favorite, when they announce something and then they go really quiet on it for 2 months because they realize it won't work. Yeah, and then they walk it back. Blue Battlefield. Jay-kun, how do you feel about this? Do you feel like the Successions, would you rather see them complement each other with their main hands and Awakenings?
I think they will be sharing. I think it would be cool to see them sharing characteristics, because, like, from a lore perspective, right, there's these twin sisters who are at odds with one another, and sort of their awakening is sort of their way to understand each other, because you know what I mean, like when they're sharing weapons, like, oh right, I understand her style of fighting and she understands my style of fighting. So I do think in terms of just the lore, they will be sharing weapons. Whether it's the same weapon or not is a different question. It seems like from this picture of it does seem like this is Woosa, when I zoom up to her face, it looks like the Woosa. The twist is that her weapon is a book. Perhaps it's using the charm as part of the book or something. And then I did see, in terms of for Maegu's C skills, Maegu's C skills holds out 2 fans when you look at her animations closely. So a lot of people are speculating that Maegu's Awakening uses double fans, and then for Woosa it's this book according to this concept art. So
that's right. You know, it's better than 1 fan. 2 fans. That's right. 2 fans. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe they are complementary Awakening weapons, but the book is actually called the Charm. It's just that Woosa uses a book to charm her opponents, which is admittedly less charming than the tasteful amount of leg that we see coming out of the Maegu. I actually would like to see. I would actually like to see them complement each other. I think it goes with the lore a lot better. And although other classes should be different from each other, I think these two are tied together. I think they've gone through extraordinary lengths to try to tie these together, both in the lore, in the game, and like through their. I don't know, everything that we've experienced through their events, their release dates, everything. And I think if you diverge from that, I think you're just getting off the path. So it's possible that that book that we see there actually is Woosa's charm. It's just a different take on that charm. Mm-hmm. So that is possible, and I would personally like to see it. But are there any like mechanics? Okay, so we've gotten a lot of new mechanics with the Woosa and Maegu Succession, like between the thunderstorms and the idea of this clone. Now, the clone is not new, but the idea that you can switch positions with the clone, the idea that you can cast skills with the clone and interact with it like on a much more sincere level is definitely something new to Maegu. Is there any like mechanics that you would like seen added to the game that are like that you've seen in other MMOs? That you might like to see in this one? Jay-kun, I'll lead off with you on this one.
So I don't know, this might be like a crazy idea, but when I used to play World of Warcraft for about a year, and I played the Priest class, and Priest had this really interesting theme in Shadow for like mind stuff, and so like mind control things, changing the way like literally controlling other classes. So maybe like a mind control mechanic in BDO might be, it's a crazy idea, but I just thought it was like a super cool thing from World of Warcraft, the whole mind control mechanic. So yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is ban Calpheon 2 from having that.
There's RP implications there.
RP implications.
He's been watching way too much mind control hentai.
Wait.
Exposed.
Yeah. Tiltus, are there any mechanics you'd like to see?
Yeah, I want to see a truly like pet oriented class.
How dare you?
I know. I want to see a class that like isn't tamer, isn't witch wizard. It is just a straight up, I'm a druid. Here's all of my, summons that I'm going to use, and each ability is a different set of summon. Almost like what Nova is. Very close, but a little bit more in depth to that. I want it to be like, if you get through the pets, the caster's toast. There's very little things that the caster can do at that point. But especially with the new like accessories and stuff coming out, like there's all these like different things that they could do to kind of balance that class. But I think it would be so cool to have a summoner style class in this game.
I think it would be super cool to have a druid where you could turn into different animals. My concern is my concern is that the developers' take on animal diversity ends at exactly fucking horses. Like we have one mount. We have literally one mount in this whole game. It's just like so what do you do? So I have this traveler horse. I have this. Don't insult my intelligence. Like, so what do you do? What do you ride around with at the start of the game? Oh, I ride around with a horse. It's like, oh, well, what's the best mount in the game? Oh, well, I ride around with a better horse. Like that's all we've got right now. It drives me nuts. So like, I don't know if it's actually within their ability to code a druid into the game. A summoner, possibly, but that's what all the Siege players need. More shit. To load in.
That is a good point.
Yeah, like more stuff. That's what we need. But like, I think a summoner would be really cool. I think a necromancer would be really cool.
Yeah. That would be dope too.
Yeah, I think a necromancer summoner. Maybe we combine the two thoughts. But let's go with the Warhammer dwarf first. I'm in on that. As far as mechanical stuff that I'd like added, again, yet summoners, and I was going to touch on the druid thing. I love druid. I play druid in D&D and Pathfinder every single time, bro. I'm just a druid because it's just got so much diversity. You can turn into so many things. I think the reason they don't give us druid is because we would all just turn into a bird and fly around. Because flight in this game is very limited, and if you're not going to give us flight, why are we bothering here? What are we even talking about? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think that we're going to get another class before the end of the year, assuming that the Woosa and Maegu Awakenings take us all the way to the Heidel Ball. But I will say that, honestly, what I loved recently was that the CMs announced, guys, you're going to have another month to do seasonal. And like to all the new players, they're like, yeah, let's go. Yeah. And then to all the veteran players, we're like, these fuckers are stalling so that they don't have to give us Woosa and Maegu Awakening. Like, that's actually what's going on. We've been around the block too many times to know we're too seasoned. Like, we know what they're doing. They need another month to get the awakenings ready, so they're giving everyone another month on the seasonal stuff, and that's fine, to be honest with you. Yeah. But okay,
maybe they're trying to actually balance it.
Yeah, it's possible.
That's a phenomenal thought.
Don't you guys playtest?
No. No, they don't.
Yeah, no.
Their playtest is like, hey, it goes on Global Labs for a week. All right, good luck, everybody else.
Yeah, okay, all right. So like, currently, my most recent rendition of this joke, where I'm like, you playtesting? What's that? I mean, it took Zethian all of like 5 minutes on stream to prove that summons from classes in the game, say Gore from Witch or Tamer's Pet, are actually affected by your monster DR, the enemy's monster DR and stuff. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So like, what are some of the implications? Like, so again, do we even playtest stuff before we send it live? I feel like this is a pretty obvious thing. But what are the classes that are most affected by this? J-Kun, I'll let you touch on it because I know you play Awakening Witch like I do. So why do you think that Awakening Witch is down tremendous right now? Like, what are the implications?
Well, a a lot of their spells, they pair up with, like, their flow is literally their pet sort of replicating or adding onto their spells. And if a good portion of that damage is from the pet, then having these monster DR and like PvE iframes or whatnot, I heard was also being affected by pets, and anything that's summoned, like Hosh tornadoes too, are being affected. And so it does seem like, from a PvP standpoint, that these are going to be indirect nerfs to those classes, because everybody received a PvE iframe for the most part, other than, I think Sork was the only one who didn't have a PvE iframe because their movement is already iframe in general. So I'm not a big PvP player, so this doesn't really affect me. So I am happy for the PvE iframes. I'm like, oh my god, I can avoid one-shot mechanics in the dungeon. Wow, So,
she's like, I don't care. I'm not a witch anymore. That sounds like a you problem, Blue.
Yeah, it sounds like
a you problem.
Right now.
Tiltus, what do you think?
Yeah, can you honestly say you're surprised, Blue?
No, again, I just, every time something like this happens, I just look around. I'm like, you guys playtest?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. We know how much spaghetti code is in this game. I mean, we do. We've seen all the various things that they've done. When they nerfed sea monster hunting, you couldn't do it with the matchlock anymore. All of a sudden, elephants can no longer be damaged by matchlocks too. How even do those two things correlate?
Well, why are you trying to shoot an elephant with a matchlock? I think there's a bigger question here that needs to be answered.
No. Back in the day, that was the strategy. When elephants would come to your base, everybody would pull out a matchlock, and you would burn the elephant down with the matchlock.
Wait, what?
It was a thing that happened.
I don't remember this at all.
It was back in the medkit meta when I used to node war with corrupt, like way back in the day. That was what we did. Elephant came to the base, everybody would pull a matchlock out, you would blast the elephant to death. And then you would equip your normal gear again, and you would go about your business. And they would die really fast. But when they nerfed sea monster hunting and they made it to where sea monsters don't take damage from matchlocks anymore, they also destroyed that meta of elephants.
This motherfucker was actually on an animal safari, like an African fucking safari, when he went to Node War. I'm not joking. And then the developers take it out of the game because he's very clearly trying to kill an endangered fucking species, and he's pissed about it.
Well, it's just like it's just an
killing
example.
Our elephants.
It's just an example. There's so much spaghetti in this game. It's actually absurd. How many things are tied to one another that we don't even know, because the source code, I've got to imagine, is just a royal clusterfuck of things just everywhere. So I can't say I'm surprised. Now that it's been exposed, it absolutely needs to be fixed, like, immediately, in my opinion, because that's literally taking away damage. And if you're introducing PvE iframes to where now all of a sudden classes can use their PvE iframes to avoid summons damage, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's obviously a massive issue, especially for the classes that rely on those pets, like Tamer and Witch and Wizard and Witch. But I'll be honest, it's almost funny to me that I didn't notice that this was a problem, because that's how little damage I'm doing already. What really is the difference between 49 damage and 47 damage?
Oh no.
But yeah, no, I really hope. I don't actually know if it can be fixed. I think that like Tiltus alluded to, I actually think that the game is actually coded beautifully well. There are obviously some bugs here or there with the source code, but the game as a whole is beautiful, and the engine is really, really good, like leagues above other MMOs, just because it is really coded just that well. But we do see bugs like this from time to time. One of these bugs that we saw was the Node War. You guys remember when your
monsters?
Yeah, so like they coded structures as monsters, and so if you had your Kudamon, you could kill the shit out of some Node War structures. Yeah, so everyone would be popping frenzy droughts in the middle of Node War to burn a base faster. Absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, they couldn't even figure out a solution to that problem. Their solution was to just add more HP until it wasn't a problem anymore.
Do you remember when they took everybody's DP away during T1s?
Oh, yeah. When everyone was just getting one shot out of nowhere. Like the new patch comes in and you're just getting one tapped in T1s because I don't know. The intern or whatever accidentally was going through the code and he set the DP cap for T1s down to 0. And so everyone was just one skilling each other. Literally one skilling each other. And that happens from time to time. I'm hoping that this is something that they can fix. Like this whole pet thing. I'm hoping this is something they can actually fix and that we're not going to get like, they're just going to go quiet on it. Because I feel like they know. And they are aware, but if they just go quiet on it for multiple weeks, then I know, oh God, they don't know how to fix it. They actually just can't fix it. It's kind of my like how I read the developers on that. But hopefully
the thing that scares me more than that is that they don't care.
No, I think they do care. No, I really do. I think they care. I think that they don't want to launch. So here's the thing. When you try to fix something like that, it has implications for the rest of the game and the code as a whole. And so they could fix, okay, we fixed it. And then like 9 other problems spring up because of the way they fixed the problem. So like now they have to approach that problem and they have to fix it in a way that isn't going to break the rest of the game. So like, I think they really do care. I've never gotten the impression that our developers don't care about us or that they don't listen to us, except when Cacao was running things. But that's because Cacao's complaint department was quite literally a paper shredder. Don't worry, it's on its way to Perlibus right now.
It was a fax machine going straight into the paper shredder.
Yeah, it's on its way to Perlibus right now, and then they would just throw it in the garbage, bro. Like, it's actually just unreal. But since Perlibus took over, I do feel like that they listen to our feedback. I do feel like they care about their player base, and they listen to what we want. So, like, they can't not have heard about this at this point. So they have to be working on a fix. The question is whether or not they're going to be able to find one in the coming weeks. And we will see. We will see. All right, so we're moving right along to one of our bigger subjects for the day, and this is grind zones and regions. Okay, so the first thing I want to touch on, and this was something that J-Kun wanted to talk about. I thought it was such a good subject. What are some of the most irrelevant grind zones in BDO that you can think of, and why are they irrelevant? Let's just list them out first.
Well, probably one comes to mind is Waragon's Nest. I don't think anybody really goes there for any reason. There's nothing that really drops there.
Who?
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was doing Herald's Quest the other day because I finally decided to finish up my HP journals. And you have to go to Waragon's Nest. And I realized I have never, in my entire time playing BDO, I have never killed a single Waragon. I saw the mob and I was like, this thing exists in this game? I was like,
what are these doing up here, bro? He's always been here? Like,
what's my exact reaction? I was sitting in Discord with somebody and I was like, what is this? I've never seen this creature before. So yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I've been playing the game for 6 years. I've never seen a Waragon.
All right, what's another grind zone that we don't ever see anymore that's basically dead? I just want to say, okay, Jake, can you go ahead?
No, go ahead. No, you go first.
Okay, I'll go
ladies first. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna let you have this. But I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna come back at you later. I'm just gonna let you asked for this. I'm gonna come back at you later. I'm going with mains. I think that mains has been irrelevant since I started the game 7 years ago. Like, it wasn't like, even when like Sawson's was like the go-to grind spot, mains was still dog shit, bro. You didn't go to mains, you were griefing. Like, why would you grind there? You can make 6 million an hour at Elric Shrine. Why would you go to mains? You know what I mean? And nowadays you can still only make 6 million silver an hour at mains. And the mobs are super spread out. So like, I think that's one of the big ones. Tiltus, give me one.
Desert Fogans. I want Desert Fogans.
How dare you? I grinded these the other day on my Guardian to get her more skill points. You sit down. That is not dead.
Fogans, dude. I miss that place so much. I just want to be able to go red and hop over the fucking cliff from Moy Quinn and come back. Like, I just miss that place so much. I had so many hours there because that's where I did my 60 to 61 grind back in the day. I have so many good memories of that place. It wouldn't be as good now, but man, I would love to go back out there again.
All right, Jake,
I was gonna say Winter Tree Fossil in Mountains of Eternal Winter.
Ooh,
The only time
that's
you
a good
ever
one.
really do that once is for the quest line. That's it. You never really go back because there's nothing else that really drops there that the other grind spots don't drop. And so, yeah, Winter Tree Fossil.
At least
Yeah.
I've killed those.
Yeah, I completely
For
agree.
the quest line,
Qu-
right? For the
yeah,
quest
at least
line.
there's
Yeah,
a
that's
quest line
it.
attached.
You have to do it for once for the quest line. I don't. Do you ever go to Wargons for a quest line or anything? No, not even.
No,
Okay.
I've done Valencia 1 and 2
Not
so
even.
many times I can't even count.
Yeah, I think that okay, Winter Tree Fossil is a great one because that's like a more recent one. We've all been we taking the easy ones, bro. Like the main shit. I'm gonna take another easy one. I'm just gonna shoot at Elric's right now. I have so many throwbacks to Elric's. I used to grind at Elric's with Saucin level gear because Saucin's was where all the big people went. That's where all the people with the biggest e-penises went. And I could not compete with that level of dumb fuckery. So I went to Elric's for unobstructed grind time and made 6 million silver an hour. And today it makes just over 6 million silver an hour to grind there. It's actually disgusting. Let's see. Let's go back to Tiltus. You got another one for us?
Gahaz Bandits. Bring it back.
Is it really that bad? Is Gahaz really that bad right now? I feel like
it's like 32 million.
Wait, really? I thought that they improved the trash loot.
I think it's okay.
Did they improve the trash
Yeah,
loot?
they did that for Fogan. Desert Fogan's too, big dog.
Well, yeah, but Desert Fogans is like out in Timbuktu.
It's kind of far, yeah.
How dare you? You make more. I'll have you know that I would make more at Gahaz Bandits than I would at Ash Forest. Okay, that is not a dead grind spot. You make more than what the end game premier grind spot.
How much
Ash
an
Forest.
hour is that?
Ash Forest is terrible. It's like literally 100 million silver an hour. Let me out. I'm being held hostage. I'm being held against my will. It's terrible. It's awful.
What's the trash at Gauze?
I'm
gonna look now.
Like
I
14,000.
feel like it's similar to Centaurs or something, right? Just
Yeah,
like
something like that.
trash value?
Yeah. No, they reworked all of them at the same time, Tiltus. Like that's what they did. They reworked all the Desert Fogans, believe it or not, also has reworked trash loot. All of them.
Though.
Yeah. But you were the one that just
so
said you wanted
away.
it back. I
want it to be back
like,
and
it's
be
better.
popular,
He's like, I
not
don't
just
care.
Be back
Like,
for me to run in circles around it. I want to go
16K.
back and be popular. I want to see 4 or 5 people there doing all the rotations at the same time.
Chad is telling
So I
me
can flag up and
16K.
kill them all.
Okay. So I think that we can agree, based off this list, most of the spots are basically Mediah or old Valencia spots, right? And why do you think they're dead grind spots? And is it literally just about the money?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 110%.
I'm not in it for the money, but I won't grind there if it doesn't make any money. So
no, it's about the consistent. It's about the consistent money. It's about the trash per hour value.
I think when it comes to a grind spot, if there's no like specific, unique, relevant item that drops from there, then it that's like defining it as irrelevant. Because I think what makes a spot relevant is if it contains something, you go there to get like a unique accessory, potion piece, or like a cup upgrade or a fallen god flame. None of those really drop from the places that we've listed. Not even Winter Tree Fossil. I don't think even drops an ember at Winter Tree Fossil. It's not even the loot table. If I'm not mistaken.
Useful. Yeah,
it
no,
drops.
It's not allowed to drop that.
It drops the green crystals. You know the like the green adamantines. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the non RBF adamantines. It drops those. That have like 25% grapple resist, 25% stun resist, those ones. I think that's the only thing that's useful there, but those are like dropped really commonly.
So you're saying drops is like the primary drops in like money, silver per hour, are like the two big things. But like, is it good that the game has a lot of dead grind zones, or is that just strictly a bad thing? Is that good in any universe that we just have a ton of grind zones that just aren't going to be used by it, that are just vacant for weeks at a time on every server? Celtis?
You know,
all right, guys, Jakun. No, Jakun, do it. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so I think it is important that there are bad grind zones so that new players can understand that this is a bad grind zone, and then I so they can go to the better grind zones, you know? Because if every grind zone was good, then nothing's good, right? You know what I mean? Like everything, if everything's perfect, then nothing's perfect. You know what I mean? So I do think that was like, maybe I'm trying to give them the benefit of doubt. I'm trying to give Jae-hee Kim the benefit of doubt that that's why they designed some bad grinds.
Yeah, I actually agree. I do think there needs to be bad grind zones in the game, because the sheer amount of grind zones that we have in the game now, you would spread out the already thin grinding player base so much that you would maybe not even see a soul during your hour if every spot was as good as it could be.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like having the entire player base completely spread out. I'm a big fan of having the entire player base completely spread out. Otherwise, we got to compete for everything. Otherwise, we got to compete for all the resources and stuff. Just a second. Choice, thank you for that raid, big man. How you doing? Yo, mods, can we get that shout out? Thank you. Sorry, Choice just raided me. We're in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the
Choice's stream.
Welcome to the Old Moon podcast, guys. I'm joined here with Jakun VT and Tiltus. Currently, we're talking about irrelevant grind spots, whether they're just strictly bad for the game or whether they're good. And my 2 cents on this is really that I think it's good to have some grind zones that are okay. I mean, some people would consider an irrelevant grind. Part of the reason I was like, okay, so drops and silver per hour, those are your 2 measurements. I think that most people weigh like how good or irrelevant a grind spot is by the silver per hour. And if you have some grind spots that make marginally less silver per hour, people just think, oh, this is irrelevant. And I'm going to be honest with you, as an Awakening Witch grinder, oh, thank goodness. I have somewhere to go that people can't just disrupt me all the time. I like that. Now I will say that there's probably too many right now in BDO. I think that especially Mediah is just riddled. Every single grind spot in Mediah is just a complete disaster right now. And I think that we're all don't insult my intelligence. We call it Kraptuga for a reason.
Kraptuga.
The only thing good about Kraptuga is you go there for artifacts and then you leave and then you never go back again. And most people don't even go there for that. But like, so Mediah is just kind of a disaster. I know they reworked Valencia, but the problem is some of those spots are really difficult to get to. So I think that until Elvia Realm comes out for Valencia, which might be a minute, I think that we're kind of stuck on where we're at with the Valencia regions. But I think that Mediah is in much more dire need of an update right now in terms of the overall grind spots.
Do you think Mediah gets Elvia zones like next?
Yeah, that's one of our next topics here. Is that I really do? Yeah, I think that's the big thing that they're going to talk about at the Calpheon Ball. I mean, at the Heidel Ball.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be introducing us to Mediah Elvia. Now, okay, this could be hot button for any of the veterans in the audience are going to know all about this. But I'm going to ask you guys, which grind zones are you most excited about for Mediah Elvia? Tiltus, go first.
Susan's.
I was just saying, why is it Sawson's?
Go ahead.
Why is it Sawson's?
My nostalgia's kicking in. It's Helm's Post. Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun on Helm's
Post. It's like the one guy. He's like, I'm different from the other girls. Like,
it's my nostalgia, man. So I really like Main's grind because it's where I did my to 56 grind on my DK when I first started playing, and then I really like Helm's Post because it's where I did 56 to 58. So like I remember those zones very vividly because I spent a lot of time there. So I really liked both of those zones.
Yeah, I think Sawson's is like the number one.
But yeah,
like expected, like you can't go wrong. Aside from Sawson's, for most of us, I think that the next most common answer is Helms. Okay, I think that is fair.
Yeah.
But they can't just have 2 grind spots. So would you rather see Abandoned? I call it AIM. No one else calls it AIM, but I'm really hoping it catches on one of these years. Abandoned Iron Mine or Elric Shrine? Which one would you rather see?
I'm gonna say Abandoned Iron Mine because I think that the mechanics for
that would be so sick.
The elites would be super dope.
Same. I think Abandoned Iron Mine
is so many.
So. There's a couple. There's like the troll. What do you call it? The troll elites there, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's where you go.
Maybe
get your
they'll
green
bring a
coastals.
little bit of Quint Hill into the into Abandoned Iron Mine stuff.
I think that I think Abandoned Iron Mine, it definitely has the coolest implications because they already had some really cool mechanics. Like it was the only spot that had like big elites that you could go around and farm, and I used to do that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I used to go there for like the crystals and stuff. It was actually really good silver per hour if you could find if you could like constantly server hop and find the bosses.
Elite
But
rotations.
yeah, and I actually am curious now because honestly, this is a great segue. You guys are doing great today, segueing us into the next topic. Do you think? Would you rather see Mediah Elvia? So we know that Land of the Morning Light is going to be this boss-focused PvE content, right? Which is a completely different take than we've ever seen before. It's not party. It's not. Well, I mean, it is solo, but it's not like our normal solo PvE content where we have basic mechanics. Do you think that they're going to go with another boss-centric, like Mediah Elvia? Do you think that we're just going to get bosses in Mediah Elvia, or do you think it's going to be just like the other Elvia regions, or do you think they're going to take it a different direction? Jake, you can go first.
I think it's going to be similar to Calpheon and Serendia Elvia. It's just going to be this just like a regular grind zone because Land of Morning Light is boss focused, and I don't know if they're going to, they're going to want to go back to grind focus, boss focus or something. Because we are getting like a lot of just like one-on-one stuff in Land of Morning Light, and so I don't know if they want to continue that in the next Elvia Zone. Elvia Zone has always been, to me, the theme of killing mass amounts of monsters, and you get this like sort of power up, right, with the weapons. And then Calpheon Elvia, it's like the rift mechanic where you get a little bit of a power up. I would like to see the Awakening exclusive skills come back because again, I think we mentioned last podcast, the Awakening Elvia exclusive abilities only applies in Serendia when you have a weapon. So I would like to see that spell come back to the rest of the Elvia zones.
Oh yeah, I don't know why they took that away in Calpheon Elvia. Like they introduced it. It seemed like a really cool mechanic, interesting. And then they just took it away from us. I'm not really certain why. Maybe it's because they couldn't balance it between all the different classes and it was just an extra headache for them. How did you not see that beforehand as being a problem? But again,
we only get it for like 5-10 minutes, right? The upgrade. So I wouldn't mind just like a one-shot hit for like 5 to 10 minutes. I don't think that's that big of a deal. For me, I feel powerful. That's sort of the I think that's what they said at the dev notes, that Serendia Elvia, the Elvia zones were meant to make players feel powerful for a small moment, and so those abilities definitely made you feel powerful in Elvia.
For
Serendia
sure.
Elvia, at least.
Now, which one would you guys prefer? Would you prefer to see? We've seen one party grind spot for the Elvia region so far, I think, and that's Altar Imps. Oh no, two, because Castle Ruins was also
Castle Ruins.
Castle Ruins was also
Castle Ruins believer.
Would you rather for Mediah Elvia? Would you rather see the party, the boss, or like the normal like solo content? Which one would you guys prefer?
Something similar to Olin's Valley. I would love another like Olin's Valley alternative. Like something that you're just a group, maybe another 5-man party zone, because Upper Gyphins was the only 5-man party zone where you killed a lot of monsters. Why not a 5-man version of Olin's in Elvia Mediah?
I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna pitch this as an idea. How about it's Sawsons. There's one person grinding, and then we have 4 pack mules running behind that one person, helping them pick up loot, and we call it party grinding. We call it party grinding. That's party it. Grinding. Patch it. Send it out. You are welcome.
You're throwing it way back.
I know.
We talked about this last week or the week before. Got blue and all of his minions.
I want to roll up with a wagon. Okay,
he's the summoner.
I want to roll up with a wagon. I think 5-man like Sawsons would be sick, and I think it would be a throwback. And I think the GVGs at Sawsons, because it's like really close to Heidel, right? Whenever you have a really centralized location, I think the GVGs are a complete clown fiesta, which to me is the coolest part of releasing new grind spots like that, because you get the whole idea. Okay, I have to go grind for some more high-end stuff that brings all the high-end players to the grind spots. All the high-end players are typically really, really geared, so like they all want to fight each other over the resources, and that's what makes PvE grinding so efficient. boss grinding is not like that, and that we're gonna miss that in Land of the Morning Light. So we're not gonna get that with that. So I'm really hoping we see that with, like, if we give Sawsons a party grind spot, then we get to see a lot more GVGs at Sawsons, because you already have 10 people there.
We'll see a lot more
grind.
wagons too, because
GVG.
they'll probably make all the trash different trashes, so we can't stack them. So they'll bring back wagons.
Yeah,
you know, that's what we want, right?
Good job segueing into trade rework, Jay. Nice work.
Oh no.
No, I did want to touch on. We didn't talk at all about Schultz Guard, Soldier's Grave, Elric Shrine, and Harash. There's a lot of grind spots in Mediah.
Yeah, there are.
Like a lot. And there were a lot of grind spots in Calpheon too. And now there is just Hex Sanctuary. So
now there's I mean, I go to Trolls. Trolls is not that bad.
You go to Trolls because you're because I
can't find
gear.
a spot at Hex.
Because you're capped gear and you can't find a spot. Yeah, because you're different than the other girls.
Yeah.
You have ears. So, like, do you guys want to see? Did you guys ever grind at Schultz or Soldier's Grave or Elric Shrine or Harash for any reason? And don't say the Awakening quest lines. That's cheating.
There was a very brief time where we would grind up all of our seasonal characters at Schultz, and I can't remember why we did that. It was like 2 years ago when seasonal first came out. I remember we'd all stand up. I don't remember why we chose to do that over like Mirmok or something.
It's because you can stand at like a central location on the tent, and you don't have to be.
That's
It's
be
like
the reason why.
we're like literally the laziest people in the entire universe. The devs are like, we've done it, we've made Schultz relevant, and we're like, okay, we really are just super lazy and don't want to have to move while we're being leeched. And like, we're standing up there on the platform, keep going around. We're almost there.
2 more hours.
Right. What about Soldier's Grave? Soldier's Grave, little known fact. Some of the best, or it used to be some of the best skill EXP in the entire game. That used to be where you would go. The problem is the optimization at Soldier's Grave is just above flaming garbage. Just above flaming garbage. It's that bad. The optimization there is terrible. But I think it's actually an interesting spot if they were going to make it Elvia. I mean, the mobs, they go under the ground and stuff, and then they rise up. I think that would be really neat, and they could do a lot with the bosses there. The problem is, I think the optimization there would just kill the spot. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix the optimization there, or if they're even going to bother trying to fix it. So, what about Harash? You guys grind Harash for anything other than
Harash?
Oh my gosh!
There it is.
This man is literally the forefront peak.
I'm opening up my world map.
Peak PvE content gamer doesn't know Harash Ancient Ruins. How dare you? Don't you remember
Hazra? You mean Hazra? It's not Harash. It's
Hazra. It's the same thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
It's not the same thing.
It's all the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Nobody gives a shit. That's how irrelevant it is. So, like, what about Hazra? What do you guys think about Hazra? Do you think it would be a cool spot, or do you think that it's doomed to be the guild? The only reason anyone does it nowadays is for the guild missions to get the guild bosses every week for their guild.
Yeah.
And Jacob's like, you guys guild missions?
What are guild missions? I think Kratuga was sort of an attempt. I feel like before Elvia, I think Paddock's Island, Abandoned Monastery, Tortuga Ruins was like sort of the like early versions of Elvia as like a rehashed spot, right? Because Paddock's Island reuses spots from Pirate Island, right? Abandoned Monastery reuses mobs from Abandoned Monastery, but they just give higher stats. And same thing with Kratuga. Kratuga has the same mobs, they just have higher stats. And so I don't know if they're going to make Hazra Ruins Elvia version because there's already Kratuga. Yeah, because that's what sort of happened with Abandoned Monastery. Like Abandoned Monastery never got a Elvia version because we already have Abandoned Monastery. So
yeah, that was my thoughts on it too. Is I feel like that'd be one of the places they would leave out because there is Kratuga, which is supposed to be somewhat comparable, even though it's not.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about Omar freaking Lava Cave.
Omar Lava
I didn't even remember it. I didn't even remember it
simultaneously.
Oh my god. Did anyone actually grind there? I thought that was just a spot that you went to that happened to have mobs.
I go there for my Dark Rift.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh my god. Yeah, I
See,
don't.
I'm trying to think.
I
I
go
think
there
I
for my
tested it.
Dark
I think I
Rift.
tested it for XP back when I first started the game, and I think I decided I didn't like it and went to mains instead. It's an interesting place. It's probably one of the more interesting zones in the game, though. This giant magma cave.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I did.
I could see you doing
just,
like a Farid boss, like Elvia boss style, like zone for that. Like you go here and you farm this boss or something like that.
There's no shot, bro. If they make Elvia Omar Lava Cave, I will eat my hat. There's not a chance. The's not a chance.
Let's get him an old
gonna get
podcast
Elvia.
hat and watch him eat it on
There's
stream
not
one day.
a chance, bro. No, oh my gosh. Like, so okay. So what are some of the things we think we're gonna get from there? I think that we're gonna get. Honestly, do you think they're going to change up the cups? Do you think they're going to just keep giving us more different cups, like accessory enhancements? Or how do you think they're going to spice it up? Because as Jay touched on, a big part of why people grind at new locations is obviously the silver per hour, but also the drops that drop there, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, do we think that they're just going to keep giving us these cups? They seem to be a really good recipe for a lot of different players for, like, I don't know, diversifying their gear a little bit. So do you think that they just expand on the cup thing a little bit? Or do you think that we're going to get something new? Jay, what would you like to see?
I think they're going to continue with the cup thematic because or upgrade mechanic is how I would put it, because Calpheon Elvia allowed you to upgrade your alchemy stone for the first time, right? Mm-hmm. And then Serenia Elvia cups allowed you to upgrade your accessories for the first time. So perhaps it might not be another accessory cup upgrade or alchemy cup upgrade. It might be maybe you're just upgrading your armors or weapons this time. Maybe a main head upgrade, because we already have the fiery upgrade for the main awakening and the offhand. What about a main head awakening upgrade? So I think that would be in line and in brand with the theme of upgrade mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, this idea of actually enchanting your gear is a newer concept. We got it with like Garmoth's Heart and stuff. We've seen it a few times, and honestly, it's just successful every time. Also, when people say, I want to enchant my gear, we don't have to make fun of them as much anymore for not saying enhance. So, like, I think that the cup idea is really cool. And I think that they should continue on with it. They just expand it to the other gear slots. Although, the problem with doing that for something like armor is that if you give evasion any more ground, especially with the new crystals, I am going to be doing the Macarena. Don't make me kiss you. I'm fairly certain people just won't hit anything at that point.
Just literally turn into Rock Lee rolling on the ground.
Dodging
all the sword stab.
Artifact upgrades? Like, you can upgrade your artifact.
Oh, that's an idea.
Ooh,
Artifacts are relatively new, but I could see them going that route.
Although I would like to see, if they're going to do that route, I would like them to open up the whole world again. When artifacts dropped, it was a clown fiesta. Nothing was a dead grind spot. You had to go, man, I was over at Paddocks. I was down at, I was up at Thornwood. There were all kinds of places. Still didn't go to Winter Tree Fossils. That place is garbage. But like everywhere except basically Winter Tree Fossils, everyone was going for all these artifacts and stuff. And I think that if they're going to buff artifacts again, I think that they should open it up to the whole server again and be like, okay, yeah, now your artifact upgrades drop in all these different locations. Because again, that would make a lot lot of diverse grind spots.
Make Wargons relevant again. Oh my god!
No, we're not giving them the Wargons. No, we're not giving them.
Nobody went there.
We're not giving them the Wargons. We're gonna make it somewhere that no one grinds ever. I was thinking like Hex Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Why don't we just make the artifacts in Hex Sanctuary, so that we never have to leave. It's probably fair. Okay, so I think we've touched on grind zones enough at this point. As far as Land of the Morning Light goes, we'll see that in about 8 months to 6 years. But beyond Land of the Morning Light, bro, I'm thinking 6 months at a minimum, but we will see. Beyond Land of the Morning Light, though, which region do you think is going to be next? / which region do we want to see the most? Your options here are A. Well, I'm gonna type this out. You have Land of the Morning Light 2. You have Land of Demons, which is that like island north of Valencia. This would be like a Valencia 2. expansion. You have like Mediah 2, which is like that southern Mediah region. You have Mountain of Eternal Winter 2, and then you have, I think that's it, right? There's like the only four. Those are the only four that we have. So do you guys want to see Land of the Morning Light 2, Valencia 2, which is like that Land of Demons area, Mediah 2, or Mountain of Eternal Winter 2? And also, do you think that's going to be the next expansion, or do you think it's going to be something else? Jay, it was your topic. I'll let you touch on it first. Go ahead, buddy.
I think just lore-wise, if you completed the Mountains of Eternal Winter quest line, you should have gotten this key called Valencian Gold Key, which says it's like the key, like one of the keys needed to open the Land of Demons, which is called Alyeli. That's the lore name for it, Alyeli. And so I do think north of Valencia will be the next expansion. We actually have some description of north of Valencia. It's actually supposed to be sort of a jungle region, and there's a volcano in the middle. So I don't think we've ever had some sort of like jungle.
The new Valencia region?
Yeah, north of Valencia.
You're right. Elvia doesn't count as an expansion. You're absolutely right. Well,
I think Elvia is more of a forest instead of a jungle. Jungle. When I think of jungle, I think of Amazon. Hot.
It's literally like Avatar. It's just Avatar the expansion.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, it gets its own separate world.
Yeah. Like, okay. Tiltus, what do you think we're gonna get next?
We'll probably get Land of Demons, to be completely honest. I feel like that's a pretty big section of the map that's been teased for a while that we haven't gotten. I would like to see the area south of Mediah first, but I think it will be Land of Demons first.
Why do you want to see
or they'll just straight ride the hype of Land of Morning Light and do Land of Morning Light too. So that's a possibility as well. But
yeah.
I don't know. I've just always been intrigued by that area over there. I mean, there's stuff over there on the map. I mean, but we don't ever really go there. So I would like to see it.
Oh, you mean south of Mediah? Yeah, there's a little castle over there.
Yeah, exactly.
New Castle Siege, Pog?
New Castle Siege. Thornwood Castle when?
That's what we all love so much about Siege, is I know that every Siege player loves sieging a castle. That is literally the best part of Siege. Oh my god, please don't give us another castle. Honestly, if they just took the castles away, does Siege just become better? That's a little off subject. Let's stay on. Let's stay on subject.
Whoa.
I think hey, Blue, you're off script. Drop script. Stay with the note cards. But I think that we're gonna get probably Land of Demons. It's really annoying that Jay knows the lore on it. Sorry, it's so boring.
Imagine.
They've gone against the lore. They've gone against the lore before. I feel like they're not going to give us the dwarf class with the obvious Warhammer until we get Mountain of Eternal Winter 2, and that bothers me because I want to play with the giant hammer.
What kind of class would a hammer class be? I was thinking when I think of dwarf and hammer, I think of a blacksmith class.
Well, yeah, that's like the standard. He's hitting like the thing. Well, what is? Yeah, like destroyer. I like that.
Destroyer.
Anything. Here's a thought. Reforged. Is a class. It's easy. That's it. Ship it. Send it out. Although I think that I think we're gonna get the Land of Demons, but it's really weird to call it the Land of Demons because we don't really have demons in BDO, which opens up to the idea of potential like the necromancy stuff, right? Like they could potentially give us. I mean, it's demons, right? Like
clerics or something.
Clerics. Get out. We have Valkyrie. We don't need clerics. We'll be okay.
Well, I'm just saying like demons, clerics, like.
If they release
Paladin class, I feel like those
Paladin is Valkyrie. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I love how Jake just forgot that Valkyrie existed.
What is a Valkyrie?
We already have.
Hey, relax.
There's just Paladin reskinned into it. Like so we already do have that.
It's the pair for Valkyrie.
Literally though, like actually though. Okay. All right. So I think that we've all kind of agreed that Land of Demons, Valencia 2. Although you said, I don't know, on the map, when you look at it, this little island on the map, there's a lot of like snow. there,
Mhm.
and I know that probably means literally nothing. But I thought that it was going to be kind of snowy, and then Jay's throwing around this idea of a volcano. So I don't. Where did you hear that, Jay?
From one of my viewers, we were discussing it, and then they said they looked into
the
the lore. So
experts.
I just
The
experts.
Twitch chat. Yeah,
experts.
that sounds
it
like
was
a
a really
credible source
interesting
to me.
conversation. That's what they said. I'm sure. Like there's some
We need
truth to what they're
sources.
saying.
We need sources right now.
Sources.
No.
I heard it from my friend from a friend.
Your
you
friend,
know?
yeah, his older brother actually.
My older,
Yeah.
twice removed.
Yep. Okay, I think we've talked enough on the expansions and stuff. Let's pivot to over to our global lab patch notes for the day. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and get it out of the way early. What do we think about these Archer changes? What's going on with it? Why? What the hell? Tiltus, you can go first. What do you think about the Archer changes?
Man, I'm torn. Like, so I was shameless plug here. We are now on Spotify, so I was shamelessly listening to our own first episode on Spotify earlier today, and we talked about. We ended up actually talking about.
Jay, hold on, one sec. Jay, did you just say "oh snap"? Is this like the first you're hearing about it?
No, I did hear it. I'm just trying to play into it. I'm playing into it.
Okay, all right. I just said I was a little offended.
Don't worry, I saw it.
Blue was like,
I feel like Delphi. No one reads my announcements. Like it's ridiculous. Like, okay, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so I think Archer is going to be. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it brings something to the table. I know I still talking with Archers. I don't feel it's 100% everything that they wanted, but rarely do we get everything that like somebody that plays the class, religiously wants. I do think they added some protections to stuff, which I think was asked for. One of the things I actually like, and this is going to sound weird because I hate going against this. Is the meteor dive distance. I think that was a really good change for Archers because I feel like that's one of the issues that the class has is just escaping when somebody gets to them.
Okay, so I know what you're talking about, but other viewers don't. So you should explain what meteor dive is so that they know and then all know.
Sorry, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. So meteor dive is the Archer skill. I believe it's spacebar. I haven't played it in a while, but it basically gives them kind of a reactionary ability to disengage, like backflip away from their target. And they've increased the distance that which you basically backflip away from your target, which I think will be good for Archers because I know playing against that class, that's one of the problems that class has is escaping once somebody reaches them. So I like that a lot. I do think they touched on some of the movement of the class as well, like looking at the uproot skill. The distance it travels backwards has also been increased, but I don't believe this skill is protected, which is another disengage option, which is good. So I think overall, I think it is more what we were talking about the very first time we brought up Archer, because Archer got buffed recently. They increased the damage numbers. Number go up, brain
number up chemical. Good. Yeah, number
exactly.
up good.
And these are more the changes I believe that the Archers were asking for is more protection and some kind of movement. I'm not sure about their protection because I don't play the class personally, but I know the movement on these skills looks way better for Archer because it has been very static where it feels like everything else is sped up.
Because that's what the longest range class in the game needed was more movement and protection. Yeah, that's gonna help me. I hate these changes. I don't like that range. Honestly, Jay, I hate these changes. Jay, do you like these changes before I just go in?
I don't play Archer, and I'm kind of like that person that scrolls down a patch note and be like, oh, that's not my class. That's not my class. That's not my class.
He's like, I'm going to let you two guys. I'm going to let you do that.
And then he finds out his passive skill is 5%.
My passive
knowledge.
5% knowledge. Yeah. So, I mean, if it's really good for Archers, I'm happy for your Archers. Good job. Happy for you guys.
I love the DP shy is like, I don't care. This is
Should we-
useless information to me. Okay, so I'll take this with Tiltus. I think that these changes are too much. I think if you touch range damage is already the best damage in the game right now. It's already
There's only
cleanly
two
the best.
classes that do it, right? It's just Ranger and Archer, I think, right? For range
Um,
damage.
Is this on? Is he thinking? Is Maegu? Are we playing the same game?
Is Maegu ranged? No.
Maegu
I
was
mean,
magic.
I mean the type.
Oh, you mean
I
the type of damage?
the
Okay,
type.
you scared me.
Yeah.
You scared me.
I think it's just Ranger and Archer that are the type ranged, right?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I think those two. Yes. But so it's difficult to itemize against ranged damage, and it's already the best in the game. I mean, shield classes are standing in block, and they're like, man, the developers have given me this super strong block. Boy, do I feel really strong right now. And then they get hit by an archer arrow, and they're like, where block? and honestly, also where HP? You know what I mean? Like, and we just gave them buffs. We just gave them the damage buffs, and now we're gonna give them the movement and protection. I know archers have been asking for movement and protection for a long time. Hear me out. This is gonna sound crazy. That's what balanced the class in the first place. Okay. The fact that archer was like could hit you from off screen was what made the class really strong. The fact that he could kite back and keep a really big distance between his opponent was what makes the class balanced. If you allow him more protection, like the only thing that balances the class is being able to dive on top of it. Now it makes it even harder to dive on top of it. And when you do, it's even more protected, which makes it even stronger with the damage buffs that it just got. I think with these buffs, I looked through them all. I think that Archer becomes pretty cleanly one of the best large-scale classes in the game. And it already was. I would consider like a A-tier class in large-scale PvP. I would move it into the S tier alongside something like Berserker here. Like, and Berserker is there because of its BSR for the most part. Like, Archer is there for everything.
I will say these changes feel similar to what we talked about the other week with Dracania being sped up. It feels very similar to that. Like, they gave him these changes, but the effects way more than just like this class specifically. One of the things with Dracania was that it was slow, but it had big damage. Now it's fast and has big damage. So it plays kind of off the same thing that you're talking about here.
Yeah, and Dracania, again, S tier class right now in large scale PvP. Like, Dracania is just objectively stronger than most other classes in the game because it was already doing everything correctly, and now it's even faster. Go ahead, sorry.
Here's what I would like to see. I would like to see these patches either linger on global labs and get some feedback and revert things that need to be reverted, or if they choose to release them immediately like they typically do, you need to look through and find out what makes the class too broken and then revert that to the way it was before. Because I agree. I think these classes I think these changes are too strong.
I'm sorry.
Especially with the damage that they got.
I'm sorry. You said something that was weird to me. Playtest? I don't follow. You just send it to live and see what happens. Like that. Like, I think we probably are going to get the Archer changes on this. I would argue, like, it's already been 1 week
tonight.
We might get tomorrow we might be dealing with the land of the Archer light. Like that's like Korea got one version of the expansion, and we're going to get Archer. That's what we're going to get. I already have like 4 people in my guild that are like, okay, I can play my Archer again. I'm like, okay. I hate everything. Like, as a frontliner, that class is not going to be killable, man. Like, it's you took a class that was already very difficult to catch, but the only balance mechanic was that when you got on top of them, you could punish them, and you took away most of that ability to punish them, and you gave them more kiting potential, which makes it even more difficult to get on top of them in the first place. I think it becomes better than Ranger. Flannels is in shambles, and I think that not that archers are going to be able to beat Flannels because he's literally an unkillable demon sent from the underworld. But, like, I think that Archer overall, definitely the class to be really scared of in large scale when those changes get to live. I would say if those changes get to live, but I'll be honest with you, they don't put stuff on the global labs so that we can play test it. They put it there so that we know it's coming in the next weeks. Like, it's not Sometimes they listen to feedback, although I'll be honest, I don't feel like it's much like them listening to feedback as it is them just testing for bugs and stuff before they send it live, and then they play test it on live servers.
Yeah, make sure there's no game-breaking bugs.
Correct.
Like swapping to a Trina Axe when Archer releases, and like one-shotting forts.
Right. Or like, you know, pets being affected by monster DR. Anything crazy, stupidly busted like that. But okay, all right. We talked about the warrior changes. I mean, the archer changes.
Warrior.
You heard nothing. You understand? You heard nothing. What about the warrior changes? Are the warrior changes crazy impactful? I know that they're losing spam, the ability to spam on a couple skills. I honestly saw Biceptimus talk a little bit about this in the partner chat, but I forget what he said. So did you guys read about the warrior changes, Tiltus?
Yeah, I know Johnny 5 is up huge on these changes, so he's excited about them.
All right, so what exactly is changing? Like, just give it. I know you don't play warrior, but like, can you give us like a basic
yeah,
run?
So they added, what was it? There was one big one. I'm trying to find it on the G Labs. They added one big change to a skill, and I'm trying to figure out where the heck it is. Was it head chase? No. What was it? It was one of their movement skills, I thought. I think they changed it to super armor, or they took away the cooldown on it or something. Give me just a second to talk about it.
Both of those things sound fine to me. I don't just remove the cooldown on the movement skill. Sounds good to me. I don't know what could be possibly the problem with that.
Give me just a second. I know they did improve the fluidity of some skills, which I think is always good. Skills need to feel like they flow into each other and not feel clunky. Where the heck was this at?
Okay, I see hit damage. I see prime spinning slash, prime break the ground. I guess the break the ground is probably ground smash. And they just gave it more PvE. Oh, a lot more PvE damage. Holy moly.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Let's change to activate when spacebar is pressed. Somebody in chat that knows Warrior better than I do, tell me if I'm crazy or not, or maybe I'll just go look for
it just means
Johnny's
that
post.
it just means that these warrior changes, I'm reading it right now. Warrior succession reduces discomfort when using prime strike skill until the final blow, and makes it possible to inflict sufficient damage with other skills besides prime strike skill, which means it'll flow into other skills more cleanly. Existing strong blow skills were reluctant to use, or people were reluctant to use them because the last hit did not activate smoothly and there was no linked skill after the hit. Therefore, even if the last hit is activated, it has been improved so that the combo can be put together without interruption. They're just fixing combo stuff. And honestly, that's not crazy impactful. I think the warrior will be fine regardless. You change it, Biceptimus will complain for a week. And then we'll move on. Okay. Moving right along. Another thing on the Global Labs right now is this trading update. Do you guys know about the trading update? I've read about it. I've been keeping close tabs on it, but I think that they're being intentionally secretive about it. Like overall. But Jay, have you been kind of looking at this trading update? Do you know what it's all about or no?
It hasn't really been on my radar, but I know I was discussing this with somebody about how good it is, and apparently it's not that good if you just do it actively. You kind of have to do it over a period of time, which kind of stays in line with the theme of trading. But there's already a Discord, because apparently you can sell the item you buy for up to 300% of the price, and depending on the rumors that they say. And then there's already a Discord for people calling out the rumors, and so even with that, it still doesn't seem like very impactful in terms of silver per hour. So
well, let me explain what the basic concept is, so that the listeners know. So there's a big trading update on the Global Labs that basically changes trading into a different form, like a subcategory of bartering. Essentially, obviously, you're moving goods from point A to point B like you were before. But the idea is that you purchase goods at a certain spot and location, and you move them, and you hold on to them, and you wait for the prices to fluctuate on those goods in other cities, and then you move those goods when the price is the highest, like buy low, sell high kind of situation. Then you move the goods to that new city. and it's constantly shifting, so you don't know where you're going to have to move the goods to, and you have to constantly keep track of it. Does that make sense? So like in this way, it's kind of like bartering, but it's also, I don't feel like you can do it as consistently as you can do bartering. Bartering, you can just sit there and plow through all three. You can plow through all 3 refreshes and just get it done, right? But I think that the trading update, you kind of just have to do your trades, get everything ready, and you just kind of have to sit and then watch the market. And I think it favors a much more active play style because you have to be online when the price hits the highest point. You can't just do it like bartering. I can just pick up and do when I get home from work for the day. I just get on, I hit T on my boat, and it sails to the next island. And that's how it works, right? But for trading, I could get online and none of them could be sellable, and I just can't do that content for the day. Or I'd be basically griefing myself. So like, I think that there are flaws in that content, but I also think that there are aspects of this trading rework that we're not getting yet. I think that the developers don't actually want to share everything with us because people would buy the whole market out for different things. For example, like bartering, you have to buy into the bartering system, right? So like all the T1 trade goods or like the base land mats, the T1 barter mats, they did not release those before bartering got released until they hit live servers, and then they were all different. And I think they're doing something similar for trading. They don't want to really reveal exactly what it's going to be like quite yet, but I think that, I mean, they said that we're going to get this trading rework quickly, but we will see. I didn't. Okay, so I'll admit the official Back Desert, our beautiful CMs, posted an announcement today, and I did not read it. And look,
how dare you.
I love CM Scarlet, but also the ping, and I just leave it unread. Yeah, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like we're going to be getting the trading rework with this patch either. But it does look very interesting.
Live, isn't it? I thought it was live.
Is it live?
Patch notes right now. Yeah, it's live.
Oh, right. And it is live.
April 6 patch notes, right?
Yeah.
But they haven't released like all of the stuff yet, right? Like why are we not? Is it? I thought we were waiting. Oh my God, is it just that bad?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's all live? I thought that we were waiting for like the actual drop. I thought that they see, I read the patch notes and it said stuff about trading, and it said they removed old trading goods. They removed all these old trading goods and they put in some new ones. But I thought that that was only like half of it. I thought that we were getting like a whole nother like addition to this. This is it. This is what it took the 8 months they've been working on this.
Has anybody done the rumors or anything yet? You're supposed to get like rumors and stuff, right? And they tell you like where things are going to be sold high and stuff like that.
So every 4 hours during a specific time, 2 a.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m., et cetera, the price will rise 15% or go down 15% up to a maximum of 300%. And so you're kind of like betting that your things will sell high, but you have to watch the rumors to see, is it going to go down or is it going to go up? Should I keep holding on to my trade item, or should I sell it now before it drops? Because you heard the rumors that it was going to drop. So I think that's what they were trying to go for here. I don't know if it's going to be a good silver hour. I don't know if the system is good. I don't really do trading, but at least they tried, Yeah.
No. We are past. No, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. I am past it. I literally read the patch notes and didn't even realize that the trade buff was live. That's how garbage it is. Okay, like it's so bad that no one even bothered to bring it up. Like, period. I've been watching streamers all week. I watched Biohack, like the trading guy. Like that's what he does. Unbelievable. So it's really just that bad then. I
was wondering if anybody had actually done it yet, because from my understanding, they're supposed to periodically like extreme increase, right, or just extreme decrease, right, like once a day or something like that. They can like extremely fluctuate. You know what it honestly reminds me of? It reminds me of buying turnips on Animal Crossing, where you just buy onto this thing on Saturday and then you forget about it until like the next Saturday, and then you're like, oh yeah, I've got these trade goods that I need to sell before they expire.
We are so far past giving them credit for trying. That ended years ago, bro. I have given them so much money, there is actually not a chance And to be honest with you, like they worked on it for like 8 months. They said we were gonna get a trading update like 2 balls ago. Like literally 2 or 3 balls ago.
It's been a while.
Like it was like a Calpheon ball ago, not this previous one, but the one before that. And then we finally get it, and it's literally so bad that no one's even doing it. Like is there like a trade window in the game, like a barter window, kind of like that? Or do you just have to talk to the trade manager in each town?
I think you have to talk to the trade manager in each town. Like you have to physically be there, is my understanding.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they also increased the weight of wagons. I think the forest path wagon is like 5,000 weight now. According to my my chat, it's about 500 mil per hour. From what they've done, they said it's not the best silver, but it's fun. According to them.
Wait, whoa! Let's back up for a minute. Let me just back up for a minute.
Did we just have a whole conversation about dead grind zones?
Did you just carry the 0, or did you just say 500 million an hour?
500 mil an hour.
It is 500 mil an hour to literally hit T and let your wagon path around. I make less. Do you realize bartering? We're saying that trading is bad. And people are bartering. It's making, oh God, 200 mil an hour, maybe 300 mil. My chat is saying that's way off. I heard 50 to 80 million an hour. It's wild. Okay. That's what I'm getting.
So let me clarify. They said at most people are making about 500 mil, but probably not realistically 500 mil.
Gotcha. That's on a really good day.
That's on a good day. That's like the perfect circumstances, I think, maybe.
Yeah. On a good day in neutral, going downhill with the wind at your back. Yeah. Yeah. The wagon's literally just like running itself. Where's this trade? There it is.
I don't know why they're so scared to actually make trading good. It used to be really good back in the day. I never did it, and it's one of the things I wish I had done was like trash crates and moving crates from Old Wisdom Tree to Valencia City and stuff like that.
Do you think the system back then was like a good system? Like, did you like trading back then?
I never did trading. That was a thing. Like, it was one of the life skills I never got into was that setup.
I did a decent amount of trading.
I never had the CP to get set up to do that.
So yeah, this is exactly what I described. You're just buying stuff and you're waiting for the price to basically spike in different areas of the world, and then you're moving them over there. Although I'm gonna be honest with you, if it's 200 mil an hour, that's still more like you're talking about something like bartering. That's something like bartering, but it's better than bartering because bartering is gated. They only let us do 3 refreshes a day.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any kind of, now I'm wondering, is there any kind of cap on the amount of trading you can do for the day? Even if you're only making 200 mil an hour, because bartering bartering has a cap, and we only make like 200 to 300 mil an hour. Like, what the hell?
Do you think it should be gated? If there's no gate, do you think trading should be gated so that maybe just concentrate it into
here? If trading is not gated, I want bartering ungated immediately. I want infinite refreshes right now. Like, okay, the people are saying there is a gate. Clearly I do not know enough. Yeah, clearly I do not know enough about this system to speak on it. Like, well, I know how it works. I read all about it on the Global Labs. I just didn't realize we had it. And the fact that we do have it and I didn't know about it is bad. That's not a good thing.
I think it was probably DOA, to be honest.
Yeah. It's kind of like the guild drill. Oh my God! Do you guys remember the guild drill? They teased the guild drill at the Calpheon Ball and bro, they said it was gonna be like this great open world GVG content. You can build. They were like, you can construct this guild drill and you can place it anywhere in the desert, but other guilds can find your drill and destroy it. So you have to like protect it, and it's gonna give you special buffs. And we're all the PvPers like, oh yeah, baby, give it to me. And then they comes to live, and it actually is like 3 billion silver for one person to craft, because nobody does this as a project. Okay, now it's always one guy that's like, I want to make a guild drill, and that guy makes the whole drill. and then he puts it down in Valencia, and then some passerby seasonal Tuvala Timmy is running by and go, "What's that? I can hit it!" And then they kill it. And like the guild drill is just dead on arrival. Trading update. I'll be honest with you. We'll see. I'm hoping that they at least give it buffs then. And if they're gonna give trading buffs, they had better just take the cap off. Why do we even have 3 refreshes a day for bartering? Why is it even that big of a deal? If somebody wants to make 2 bill a day bartering, but they had to barter for 9 hours, why is that a bad thing? Is that
people can grind for like 10 hours and make like 20 bill? So
yeah, I don't understand why they would gate content like that.
How much money should you make if you are gated only 3 refreshes? What's like a fair amount, do you think?
For bartering,
like 5 bill.
Well, currently at 3 refreshes, I make about a bill a day. And that's but so you can't really count crow coins. And that's 4 hours of work. That's 3 to 4 hours of work. And I have a fully blue geared plus 10 blue gear advance with a sea crystal on it. So top of the line bartering setup. It takes me 3 to 4 hours to finish all 3 of my refreshes for the day. Yeah, for 1 billion silver. Okay. And you're gated at that 3 to 4 hours. All right. So like you can't do any more bartering after that. So like, what if we just take the gate away, and if I want to barter for 8 hours in a day, well, why does it matter? Like okay, now I can make 2 bill in 8 hours. Is that really that bad? Like, is it do we need to punish life skillers that badly? Because like I feel like the grinders can make that in like 2 hours. Like
now we're dipping into why do we have energy?
Oh, we have energy for all kinds of reasons.
Why do we have energy linked to life skills?
We have energy linked to gathering. But yeah, I mean, like, I understand gating it to a certain extent. But like gating it super hard, like where bartering's at, is just not, it's not it. Like, yeah. I just like bartering
I totally agree. Yeah.
Bartering's dead right now, not because the content is bad or the system is bad, or it's not designed well in any way. It's dead because even if you did all of your barters with top of the line gear like I've got in a $60 fucking outfit, like you actually make less than you would have grinding for an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour and a half. Like that's why it's dead. Allow people to just hit T on their boat and sail around all day. Why is that so bad? And this trading rework, it doesn't, some people are saying that some people are saying that there is like a gate on trading, but like I think if you stock up enough materials, you could technically be kind of just trading all the time, unless there's something like the refresh system that is keeping you from continuing to trade. I don't really see the trading system as being gated, and if they're making 100 to 200 mil an hour, it's still going to be more than bartering. And you can do it all day. You just hit T. You're literally just running around with a wagon. It's a piece of cake. And honestly, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You have players actively playing your game. Be happy. Smile. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That is one thing that used to be huge back in the day, was actual AFK or semi-AFK ways to make money. That does not really super exist anymore. Like, do you guys actually AFK overnight to make money anymore?
Yeah. Well,
sometimes when there's fishing events, I would set up a fishing alt at like Tournament Beach or something. But that's
like, I know, J-Kun, you like train overnight most of the time, right?
Yeah, I just AFK dummy train because to be not for the combat XP. To be honest, I'm just too lazy to set anything else up because that's the only reason. I'm too lazy to set anything else.
You're so lazy that you're doing something that's like incredibly inefficient. You're like, I'm gonna keep my computer on anyway. I just don't want to turn it off. Like that's what it is. You just don't want to have to go through the trouble of turning your computer on in the morning. That's why you're AFK.
Blue, do you want to let us in on your secrets? What do you do? What do you do for AFK?
I have 2 things that are very, very good. I actually saw a post on Reddit about it this morning, and I chuckled to myself. There's one thing that is like the best AFK skill in the game right now is AFK horse training for sure. Once the tier 6 mounts came out and you could AFK horse train 4 tier 6 mounts to level 15 and Imperial them overnight, you were making really, really good money. AFK, it's also increasing a life skill that's actually relevant. Horse training like the training skill itself is really relevant. It's really good. It's not like fishing. Fishing, you could be Guru 50 and everyone would be like, no one gives a shit. Right? No one cares. You can make a lot of money fishing if you understand where to do it. Like if you AFK fish in the Ross Sea, and then you sail in and then you map to a town that had an Imperial fish vendor, and you Imperial all those fish that you caught. Also, the relic crystal shard drop rate in the Ross Sea is the highest in the game. So like you're talking about maximum relic crystal shards and you're getting maximum money out of your fish. It's actually pretty good money. The problem is you're getting fishing EXP, which, as I said, is kind of useless, and it's still less money per night than horse training is. So horse training is just objectively the best. That's typically what I do. Although I'll be honest right now, what I am doing is I'm AFKing my my Guardian's life skills so that she can be 20-second tap times.
Yep. That's what boat I'm on right now as well with Val.
Yeah. So like I just focus on trying to get players or my characters to like 20-second tap times in most cases, or I'm AFK horse training. There's one of those two things, but I'm never on a dummy.
Do you have to actively go catch T6s? Is that what it is?
Yes.
You do.
Definitely.
You're smirking. You are smirking.
Yes, I definitely don't just go to the horse vendor and buy like 5 million silver tier 6s and equip them to my wagon. You should not. You should go catch your own. Save yourself the 20 million silver, and just don't do that. If they
well, I think, do you do any of the T10 dailies? Because you do have to catch one horse a day for T10 daily, and might as well just use those T6s if you plan to get a T10 in the first place.
Yep, I do my T10
every 4 days. You can do that.
No, that's a weekly. Well, what?
There's a weekly.
That's a weekly. Oh, every month you can do that once.
No. Yeah, no. See, there's a daily for the T10 and there's a weekly for the T10. If you pick up the daily every day, see, I'm master horse training on my ult, and she just stands in front of the dude that gives her the daily quest. And yeah, I do go out and catch my horse. But like, some days I'm just so lazy that I just buy it off the market. I'm just like, all right, I'm done with this. I just don't care. It cuts into your profit a little bit, but really I like the horse training EXP is really good, because I'm gonna be honest, professional one horse training gets you from A to B faster. All the time. So like then you can auto sprint, which they still have not fixed the bridge for auto sprint.
Oh, I know what bridge you're talking about. The one in freaking
we all do.
Serendia, right? The one
just south of Orcs. Yeah. Fuck me. Every time, dude. They still have not fixed it. Fix it. Oh my gosh, bro, they introduced auto pathing, like, and I come back and every time I'm stuck on it. It's like, you think I would remember after a while? Nope.
Okay,
I'm
what
100%
about,
gonna forget.
There's one fence. There's a fence in Mediah. Like when I'm auto pathing from like Heidel to Altanova, there's this like one fence that I always get stuck on towards Altanova. Do you know something? It's like past Stonetail Ranch. No,
that sounds like a you problem.
Just me. Okay,
yeah, it sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, user error.
Damn it.
Yeah, it sounds like. Are you steering the horse manually? Because that might be your issue.
Oh, have you guys ever slid through the Altanova Bridge going to Valencia, like drift instant excelling?
Oh yeah, it's the fastest escape of my life.
Dude, I don't know why there's a hole in that bridge right there, but there's a hole in the bridge where you can slide your horse perfectly through while drifting and just fall to your death.
Worst moment of my life as a new player. I'm not joking. I'm like, I finally get my new drift instant excel horse, right? I just hit level 56 on my Dark Knight. I'm on top of the world. I'm going by like this. What is this? Delphi Knight's Castle. I'm drift instant excelling. I'm like, I'm so fast. I don't even have S instant excel. I'm on like this tier 6 little banger, going by all these T5s, going, your shit. And I'm going by him, and right as I'm riding into Delphi Knight's Castle, this huge pop-up appears. I'm like, congratulations on hitting level 56. And I literally I drove straight off the side of Delphi Knight's Castle, and I shit you not, the no, I think reverberated into my, I got a knock on my door. No, Like, as the horse went into the ravine, I didn't know escaping at the time. I swam out of that ravine as like the most angry horse is dead, like most angry level 56 player I have ever seen. When they changed it so that you weren't getting notified every time you went into a safe zone, it's like, congratulations on hitting level 50 or whatever. Like, I was so happy because I was like, oh my god, no, it won't happen to anyone else. It was awful. It was terrible. Oh my goodness. All right. So hey, Tiltus, let's move on to one of your points here. I saw that you had these guild quality of life buffs that you wanted to discuss a little bit on the Global Lives.
Yeah.
One of them is you can invite people from any server. Do you know you can do that right now, right? You do know you can do that right now, right?
Yeah. It's not just the invite from any server, right? You have to go through the recruit system that's in game, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I do every time.
I do not trust that system at all. I have had so many players bug out to where they can't join the guild, and we sit there and both of us are logging in and out, and I'm denying the request, and then he's trying to join back in. I have that thing bug out on me all the time. So I just tell everybody, I'm like, hop to this channel. I'm going to manually invite you. I refuse to use it.
I think the people you're inviting are stupid. Like, it's really, it doesn't have that many bugs. You send the invite and then, but the problem is, what most people don't understand is if they click anything, the contract disappears from their screen. They have to be on the character that they sent the invite on, for starters. Okay. So if they're not on the character that they sent the invite on, they're not going to see it, but they can switch over to that character and it'll be in the top right of their screen. It'll be up by their map, the bottom right of their map. There'll be a little scroll icon when they log in on that character, so the contract won't be there. But if they click the scroll icon, they can see the contract. But it's really subtle, and they probably just don't see it because their IQ is too low.
Gotcha.
So like you definitely there's not that many bugs with it. You just kind of have to know how the system works. Although I would say that we could use some improvements so that isn't a thing. Like now that I'm explaining it,
3 people.
Now that I'm explaining it out loud, I'm thinking that probably needs to be fixed. But I've invited enough people now to know. How it works.
You had to be on the same character. That's probably an issue. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can totally see somebody doing it on like an AFK life skiller or something, and
they
then
apply.
they hop to their main, and it's like, now I can't join. Why can't I join?
Happens all the time. Yep.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Now the guild contracts, being able to fill out guild contracts on any server is like, oh my god, I think I finished a little bit just reading it. Like, dude, the guild contracts are so annoying. Constantly seeing blue contracts and having to send them to people, but you got to be on the same server. It's really annoying. But like, now you can just send it on any server. You can just go down the list, and if they're online, boom, just send them a contract. No big deal.
So I don't know if anybody else does this, but I definitely do this. Everybody in Epidemic is an officer.
Yeah. Oh,
everybody.
Oh yeah. No, the other guilds, the other systems don't exist, bro.
Yeah. So only person that can update contracts is me and the GM. I hate it so much because people will PM me, people that actually care and are trying to, do guild missions and stuff like that. They'll PM me, hey, can you hop to my server? I'm like, no, I'm in the middle of a grind session. 30 minutes goes by and I'm like totally forgotten about it. They've totally forgotten about it. And then I get a PM in a day and it's like, hey, can you update me? I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Why?
Miserable. It's been like this for 7 years.
Finally fixed. Like,
7 years
please.
they did this. So one of the things I want to talk about is why they're so reluctant to give guilds quality of life updates. And Jay, you'll be able to help out with this discussion. I know before you're like, guild stuff, can't relate. But like, so the developers have it in their heads that there's like this big part of their, or like this even small part of their player base that just doesn't want to be associated with a guild. It doesn't want to associate, or doesn't, like, they want to play the game solo. Right. And although I think that those players exist, the reason that we don't see more guild buffs and more guild quality of life changes is because I think the developers actually just don't want to make it required to join a guild.
Yeah.
That's what they're like. They don't want people to feel like they're required to join a guild. But I'm going to be honest with you. We passed that up. We passed that like lineup forever ago when we gave guilds plus 5% evasion for joining a guild. Like, you get 100 HP, you get all these extra stats for joining a guild. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know why we wouldn't encourage all players to join a guild. There's actually just no reason to even cater to the players that I want to play the game solo. This entire mentality that they want to play the game solo, those are the people that quit the most frequently. Like literally the most frequently, because they don't find a community to really jive in or anyone to talk to. They're playing solo, they get bored with the game, and then they stop playing. They put the game down, that's it. Like, we should be encouraging these new players, in my opinion. We should encourage everyone to at least join a guild. Even if you don't like, even if you do want to play the game solo, then join a PvE life skilling guild for the buffs and stuff. Like, you should always encourage that. And I think that if the developers could just like get over this hump of trying to cater to the players that oh man, we want the game to be able to be played solo, we would see a lot of quality of life increases that I think we wouldn't see before. Jay, I'm curious, what's your take on it? Do you think that we should be encouraging all players to join a guild, or do you think that the freedom to join a guild is a good thing?
To be honest, I think I'm kind of more leaning on the freedom side. Ow.
My God, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just trying, for some reason, I was trying to do air quotes. I was literally trying to do air quotes like IRL, but you can't see that. So
you're a VTuber, Jay.
Yeah. Well, I can. Okay. Well, you know, whatever. I want to sell my intelligence, Blue. Anyways,
yes.
I'm kind of leaning more towards the freedom side of things, because I kind of hate being restricted things or feel obligated to do things. Sure, like there's so many, like many perks, and I do agree with you that finding a community helps sort of bind you and help you keep continuing to keep playing the game, and that's great and all. But I always like being not forced or feel like I'm forced to have to do something. Like right now, I do feel like I'm forced to be in a guild because of the 5% accuracy, 5% evasion, right? All these AP and HP stats, DP, just to be in a guild. And so that's kind of the fence I'm leaning on, to be honest.
Okay, so I'm going to counter, with one of your own points that you brought up in a previous podcast. You were forced to do Node Wars. You felt forced into the content, like against your will. And then you loved it. Okay, so like there's some content that I would argue that players, maybe they're going to be resistant to, and maybe they're not going to want to do it like you were with Node Wars. But if you gave them a chance, like guilds, for example, it's just an objective win. And if you connect players to the community, they have a much, much higher chance of staying and continuing to play the game. And I know this because I've led a guild for multiple years. And so like there's most of the guild members are like, yeah, I just wouldn't play if I wasn't in a guild. Like I would have quit forever ago. And I would say that's the vast majority, all people, because like anyone that plays the game solo just eventually quits. And like we just never hear from that player ever again because they didn't socialize, they didn't make friends. Why do we all play the game? Because our friends are playing the game, right? That's why we all started in the first place. You got to get involved in the community and pushing players into like a positive like guild community. Also, it would help most of the guilds in the game. To be honest with you, guilds would become more active, players would be happier overall, and I think it helps the player base as a whole if you include these players and you put them in good guild communities. Now, if you put them in a bad guild, I could see it, but even a player that wants to play solo can just join like an AFK life skilling guild and still accidentally their way into a friend. You know what I mean? Like making friends is part of what helps you play the game. Part of the reason why I suffered through League of Legends for like 6 years was because I had duo queue with some of my best friends. Thank God we moved past it. We got to BDO. it's better now.
So yeah, how many you know about the guild Old Timers Guild?
Yeah, wait, are they still around?
I don't think they're around anymore. But
okay, well, it's a bad example then.
It is, but you listen to the story. So Old Timers Guild was a guild of almost exclusively all 50-plus-year-old players. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They had 3 different guilds on NA server. They had, I think it was Old Timers Green, Old Timers Black, and Old Timers something else. And Green was the life skill branch, Black was the PvP branch, and then there was one other, I think it was maybe just like PvE or PvX or something like that. It was maybe Blue or something. But like they're literally is a community for almost every single person that plays this game. I mean, literally, this guild, all 3 of their guilds were full. We used to do whaleys with them. And in fact, I think Whippersnapper still plays because I see her posting for fucking whales in world chat. So like, and she used to run whaleys for Old Timers Blue or Green. So like, there literally is a community for everybody in this game. It may take a little bit to find it. But like, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to find a guild in this game, because that's the reason Epidemic comes back every single time, is because all the friends, we all go play our different games for 6 months, and then we're all like, man, we miss hanging out with each other. Let's start Epidemic up again for the 4th time. So, you know, like,
shit, here we go again.
It's just, yeah, exactly. I think that meme was literally posted when we announced we were coming back again this time.
Exactly.
But there's a branch of something in this game for everybody. It may take you a minute to find it, but it definitely exists for everybody. And I don't see any reason that Pearl Abyss should be hesitant to push players in that direction. I think it's just good for the game. More community stuff, more community focused is fantastic.
Right. I just think I think they got scared. I think they're scared of forcing players to do anything because it is a sandbox MMO. But in this case, this is a good thing for everyone. It's never a bad thing to join a community. Even if you're not going to involve yourself with the community, it's never a bad thing to at least have the option to reach out and make some new friends, or to play the game with people. Like I think we're well past this. Okay, BDO is a solo MMO thing, because that was the meme for like a super long time, and it still kind of is. But even still, those people that complain that it's a solo MMO are literally in Discord with like 11 people bitching that it's a solo MMO. But like that's where we're at now, is that we've got all these party grind spots. They're constantly introducing new content that's party grind stuff, like the dungeon and things like this. And I think that like involving people in the community, getting people to talk to each other, it's a massive multiplayer online RPG. We want to interact with each other.
Yep.
Stop giving us the option not to, because we are antisocial degenerates. At a bottom line, we are all antisocial degenerates, and if you give us the option not to socialize, we won't. Like, and that's bad. That's bad for the game. That's bad for us, for like the players, and that's bad for everybody. But I think that if everybody that joined the game immediately got into a guild of any kind and could ask them questions and like jump into a Discord and ask questions and stuff, I think that they have a much higher percentage chance of staying, which is going to make Pearl Abyss more money, which is going to make the community more active, and is going to make PvP more fun, PvE more fun. Everything becomes more fun when we have more players. So I don't know. I just see it. I'm very strongly opinion that everyone should be pushed to join a guild pretty quickly. Like, in my opinion, I think it would be great if they just spawned in, instead of all these stupid notifications that pop up. Here's an idea, bro. Okay, instead we get rid of all those notifications that like we just put on the ad blocker for all that shit when somebody spawns in, right? So none of that stuff comes up. Instead, when you spawn in, you don't have to look at everyone enhancing. You don't have to look at all of these horses being registered to the market and all these workers and all this dumb crap. Take all that away, and instead what they spawn in with is the little guild, like choose a guild icon. You know, that little guild menu when you don't have a guild pops up, and it's got all the different guild lists there and all the different types of guilds, and they can browse for a guild that maybe they might be interested in and apply to a guild. I think that would be a positive thing for the game. I know that they don't like pushing their player base in that direction, where they're like forced to do stuff, but I think you should encourage them, because that's still not necessarily forcing them to. They can still close the window. But I think it would introduce them to the guild system right away, because the sooner you can get them involved, the higher chance they have of staying with us, and being a part of our community, and like being a part of the game and just having fun with it and discovering what BDO has to offer. So yeah, okay, all right, we're gonna move on to the final topic here. World bosses. So your thoughts on current world bosses. Do you think that every world boss at this point, I feel like the normal world bosses are just useless now.
Oh yeah.
But you guys can speak on it, but like Kudum spawns and I'm like, who Megalo? If it's not Bloodstorm Nuver, Stormbreaker Karanda, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm still not going. Even if those things spawn, I might go to Bloodstorm Nuver just because I really want to make sure I'm able to get that Garmoth that Garmoth ult, or like that Garmoth heart. But like, yeah, what were your guys' thoughts on world bosses? Do they need to be changed at all? Jake, I'll let you start on it.
You know, it like when I first went to my first world boss, like I saw the notification come up. I'm like, oh shit! Like I was with my friend in Discord, and like we should go to that. And it was just like this amazing experience back in like 2018, of us fighting the bosses together. And I don't think that's like here anymore for newer players. It's kind of like
that's gone.
That sort of sense of discovery is not here anymore. So
I know.
I feel like there needs to be some way to sort of make the community like feel like they have to work together to defeat this world boss. I think that was the whole point of world bosses. Mm-hmm. Now they're just like what do you call it, like dummy, like you just hit it like a dummy sponge thing that you hit until you get a little bit of loot.
It's a damage sponge until you
damage sponge.
It's
That's
a
what it's called.
Pinata. Damage pinata. Okay, it's a loot pinata. Okay, that's better. Loot pinata. That's all it is. Yeah, and like I think that if you added mechanics to it or made it interesting, or hearing me out, on console they did this cool thing, and they actually only did it on console because they couldn't figure out. I don't know if they just didn't think things through. I know exactly what happened. They were like, we should have console BDO, and they didn't think, oh my god, it actually can't run Vel, or it can't run Garmoth, right? So like eventually, so they didn't have Garmoth for a super long time, and they still don't have Vel, as far as I'm aware. But what they did for Garmoth is they actually they made it a guild boss. So instead of making these useless guild bosses that we have to do these dumb guild missions to do every week, and we gotta do this stuff, they give them a Garmoth scroll every week to go run as a guild. Just remove world bosses and make it that. Like just do that for everything. Because I feel like we would have much more fun trying to do it with our guild, to be honest. Now, you couldn't do that for Vel. You can't really do that for Vel because not everyone's going to have a boat. But for like a decent amount of the world bosses, you could absolutely do that. I'm seeing people spam keep con. No. That content should be just removed, or like honestly, whoever at Perlibus was like, I got it. I know what we can do to make PvE guild content super engaging. Do you know those classes that we had them play for thousands of hours? Yeah. So we make them get on a cannon and make all that dumb shit irrelevant. And then they had to shoot the cannon at the boss, and we don't actually have to do anything. Like that, no one likes con. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's super inconvenient to do. Guild masters and officers hate running it. You hate teaching it to people because there's inevitably someone. I'm like, okay, God, you teach them the whole cannon system. You're loading all the cannons and stuff for them because they're too stupid to do it themselves. You turn around and Leroy Jenkins or whatever is aiming the wrong fucking way. And you're like, bro, I forgot to tell you, aim at the center of the pit, at the giant fucking monster. Okay, you gotta aim the cannon at the target in order to actually do something. Like I hate con, dude. I've had such bad experiences with con and people not understanding how to do it. And I'm gonna be honest, Dismantled, back when I ran Dismantled, we ran con every single week for 8 months. I mean, every single week for 8 straight months, and not a single person got a heart. And we had over 20 people at con most of the time. Not a single person got a heart. That content is dead to me. I'm done with that content. And nowadays, when people ask me to do con, I say there will be no unionizing in this guild. We will shut this branch down if I hear about any more of that con talk. But like, do you guys think it's a good idea to kind of transition, like if we transitioned world bosses into potentially, or even if we just kept world bosses where they're at and gave people more guild scrolls to run more bosses like that?
Well, I've always wanted like a sort of like guild raid in BDO, and the world bosses could potentially be that guild raid. Add some sort of guild mechanics similar to the Ataraxio. No,
we want a guild raid that's an actual raid, Jay. Don't sell yourself short.
Okay,
do not sell yourself short.
Throwing out ideas here.
Yeah.
So I want to see. I think the mechanics for the bosses are mostly fine for world bosses, but I can remember very vividly like Guild Wars 2 world bosses and like these huge like earth-shattering events that would happen because the guild bosses or the world bosses in Guild Wars 2 were massive, and there was thousands of players at these events, and your game would literally lock up, and the game would go, your little laptop would go into hyperdrive trying to catch up. But it just doesn't exist in BDO anymore, and it's dead content. Look at Quentin Merca.
Who Megalo?
Yeah, exactly. Did you know when I first started playing the game and ogre rings were like, you would just wear a raw ogre ring because that was the best thing that you could wear? We would do Quint all the time, or no, Merca all the time, and it was so much fun because it was you'd have one person on your guild cannon, they'd be shooting the boss, and then everybody else would be defend. It was just one person, just one person, just one. Your cannoneer would do it, but like that content was really fun. Like all these bosses already have mechanics that are kind of baked into them, anyways. Like some of them are just damage sponges, which is kind of lame, but like their loot table needs to be revamped so badly. Like who cares about, like,
you mean the world bosses, right?
Yeah, the world boss loot tables need to be fixed so badly, because like who cares about my base Karanda or my base Dandy or my base Zarka?
You get a base Zarka and you're like, oh, this is garbage.
Yeah, wow, I'll stick this in my chest when I eventually need a brand new weapon for a class that just came out or something. Yeah, you melt it for a quest, or like it's silliness. And like field bosses need to be fixed too. Like when's the last time you did a begs?
Actually, they're kind of
don't.
I went to a boss.
I know you are not about to tell me. There's no shot.
Like the way they did field bosses. So if you didn't know, they changed it so that it's in a chain now. So Beg, Red Nose, and Doomtree will all spawn in a chain, and so you can sort of predict.
Finally,
they finally chained them, so you can boss train them in a single channel and then swap to the next channel. And ideally, you would get about 5 swaps, and that's like a lot of extra. It's actually pretty decent money.
Yeah, I did that with what is it, Rar? I did that with Rar not that long ago, so I knew that they had changed it, but the loot tables just suck.
I still feel like field bosses are still crap. Even before they changed it, I remember accidentally walking into Beg one time as more of a late game, like it was like a year ago, and I just started doing it for fun. I was like killing it by myself, and it got down to 25%. I'll never forget this. Tuvala Timmy spawns in, and he's like. He like looks around for a second. He's like, "Are you killing this yourself?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." Like, and he's like, "Holy crap!" Like he's like, I like it was just. And then I got like a Kafir stun.
Yeah,
for killing it. It was brutal. Like it's a total waste of time.
I think the bosses are fine the way they are. I think they probably need to be updated a little bit. Here's one of the big things I have with them. Do you still lose crystals if you die to world bosses?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, they need to remove that. That's silliness.
Well, if they increase the loot table, then it's okay.
If they increase the loot table, but you also need to like maybe, I don't know. Well, no, crystals are pretty like healthy on the market right now, so maybe you do keep that in effect. The problem with that is that people still don't bring their mains to it because they don't want to lose their crystals. But you can swap now. Hang on, hold up, I'm dumb. You can literally just take your crystals off now.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Revamp them, make them harder. Fix the loot table. It's garbage. I don't know the last time I did a world boss that wasn't Garmoth or Vel.
I don't even go to those anymore. People tell me, and I'm like, okay, I'm on my way, and then I just go back to sleep.
I'm required to go to Vel.
That's too bad.
I think we have two.
I have two. The funny thing, I have 2 boats, fully geared, not at Vel. That's the funny.
Stingy.
That's the funny. Don't care. Can't be fucked. That sounds like something I got years ago. Done with that. All right. Closing thoughts, Jake. Do you have anything to add?
Not really. I kind of agree with everything you guys have said. Like improve the loot tables. Yeah.
Okay. Tiltus, any final closing comments there?
Yeah. I would like to see focus, like for the next year. I would like to see a really good focus on the expansions and balance and stuff like that. I've said that before. I think if we get a class, it'll be in like November, and I would like for it to be a male class. Just because there's only like 9 of them in the game right now. Is that what you said?
9 male classes.
Yes, 9 male classes. Yeah.
So like it'd be nice. I think world bosses desperately need a revamp. So yeah, I feel like we talked about a lot of good stuff. Somebody at Pearl Abyss actually listen and take some of these ideas and run with them.
No kidding.
I would be very excited to see some of this stuff. And it's a pleasure talking to you guys as always.
Yeah, no, as always. Guys, big updates as we kind of go into the outro for the podcast here. Remember, if you missed the podcast live on Tuesday evenings, not a problem at all. The podcast is designed to be so that you guys can listen to it at work or at school or wherever you're at. You can have video content in your ears if that's what you want to listen to. So the podcast is always launched on YouTube by the time it comes up in the morning. So you can be a part of my YouTube channel. I know Jay-Kun also posts it maybe a few hours later, but he also posts it as well. And one of the big developments for the podcast this week, guys, is we are now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So you can actually, you can actually search for us on Spotify and the Apple Podcasts by typing in The Old Moon Podcast, and there we go, right there. So you can always get your weekly dose of BDO just driving in the car. So please remember to tune in and listen to the podcast each week. Again, I'm your host, Blue Squadron. I am here with, go ahead, Jay-Kun.
Hi, my name is Jay-Kun, House of Raccoon, the first of his name, the king of the seven kingdoms, protector of the rich merchant's ring, the breaker of Olins, and the king of Dragon D's nuts across your face. Hi.
I'm Triplets TV, guys. I rebranded. I'm no longer Arslan. Next week, I'm gonna come back with an even longer title than Jay-Kun's.
Damn.
Mark my words.
We're going in next week. You watch me intro with the Game of Thrones music and just start pounding it.
Yeah, exactly. Start playing Reigns of Castamere and just look at
exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna have a.
Don't you have armor? Don't you have like a plate armor or something?
Fuck you guys. We're gonna hit the intro button. I'm gonna have a house sigil, like a banner behind me. Like, oh my gosh. Anywho, this has been an excellent segment of the Old Moon Podcast. That is going to be a wrap for episode 4. We will see you guys back next week on Tuesday evening for episode 5.